And tonight, we are fact-checking your president, Obama, and top Democrats blasting the GOP for criticizing Obamacare. They say Republicans haven't offered any alternatives to the president's signature health care law. Are they right? Avik Roy, senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, joins me now. Avik, I want you to hear what folks are saying about this and how they say Republicans aren't ponying up the ideas. Listen to this.
At least they used to say, well, we're going to replace it with something better. There's not even a pretense now that they're going to replace it with something better.
The Republicans who criticize it day after day after day have exactly no alternatives, no replacements for the Affordable Care Act.
Is that right? No alternatives?
No. So the Republicans have proposed a lot of different alternatives. I think where the Democrats have a fair point is that Republicans haven't come together on a consensus plan that would replace Obamacare.
Well, let's take a look, because I want to get back to Carney and the president and Harry Reid even talking about this. 24 plans, in fact, and some of them comprehensive, and from senators like Tom Coburn, Tom Price, Paul Brown, Phil Rowe, on and on they go. Lots of suggestions, lots of ideas on the table. And you mentioned the fact that a lot of it just boils down to repealing Obamacare, and that's going to be tough to do, almost impossible. But there's other stuff in there. There's creating more expanded state exchanges. There's tax breaks for some folks. There's money to people who are in trouble and need assistance. Paul Ryan, in fact, has been very vocal on his ideas. Did none of these measure up?
Well, it depends on what your priorities are. If your priorities are matching Obamacare's expansion of insurance coverage to the uninsured, most of the plans proposed by Republicans don't live up to that, except the plans proposed by Ryan and Coburn. Those plans offer a universal tax credit that would be available to everyone.
But is it a matter of living up? Because I think of Obamacare right now. What do I think are the big problems? It overcovers. It offers too much, plans that are too expensive. It doesn't let me keep my doctor. I can't keep my insurance plan. It's, in fact, remaking the entire world of health insurance coverage in this country. And I'm not sure I see it as a net positive. So living up to Obamacare, I don't think I want it to do that.
Well, I think it's a good thing for everyone in America to have health insurance. We don't have to do it the Obamacare way. We could do it in a market-oriented way that's much less expensive, that actually gives people the choices that you're talking about, so they can have a choice of plans, choice of doctors, choice of hospitals, choice of deductibles. All those sorts of things can be in the plan. And that's the biggest flaw in Obamacare, is it forces everyone to buy these really expensive bells and whistles comprehensive plans that cover all sorts of things that people don't need, and that's why the plans are too expensive.
Yeah, do you need coverage for getting pregnant? No, you don't, my friend.
I don't.
Right? Exactly. So, interestingly, Paul Ryan called for premium support, and that's a tax credit, essentially, to buy coverage. I think that's what you're talking about, that you would be in favor of.
Yeah, so the Paul Ryan plan to reform Medicare is actually fairly similar to what the Obamacare exchanges are. What Paul Ryan's proposed for the non-Medicare population is a universal tax credit. It would be $5,000 a family that you could basically use as a quote-unquote voucher or a tax credit to shop for the coverage plan you wanted. The government would stay out of it and not really force you to buy a particular type of plan. And that's pretty attractive.
It's a little more incented by the consumer. The consumer gets to decide what they want to do, which is one of the problems I think that people have with Obamacare, because you got to do what they say, basically, and a lot of people don't like that kind of thing.
The challenge is if you make the credit exactly the same for everyone, you over-subsidize the healthy, under-subsidize the sick, things like that. So you need to tweak it somewhere along those lines.
Exactly right. I want to ask you, I think even as we're speaking now, there is a press conference going on with the administration and reporters on enrollment results for Obamacare for November. What are you expecting?
So if we go by the reports we've seen thus far, the pace of enrollment has increased from the initial results from October. So if we say it's 2x, there was 100,000 enrollees in October. If we multiply that by 2 and say there was 200,000 in November, so say it was 300,000, that would be probably within line of expectations. If it's substantially below that, I'd worry.
If it's substantially below that. Of course, 300,000 for November still does not give them traction on their goals, really, right?
No, they'll still have to pick up the pace substantially to get enough people enrolled to make this politically have the stability that they want.
The website's better, but it's not perfect yet. And we still don't have the back end built, right?
And which is the most important part, because a lot of people are signing up. They think they've signed up for a plan, but if they haven't paid and the insurers don't know they've signed up for that plan, they're not covered.
Avik, thanks for coming on. It's always great to see you. Always great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.